Welcome everybody to the lunch hour, presented to you by KUAF, sponsored by George's Majestic Lounge Happy Hour. And we have here Dana from Girls Gone BBQ and Jackson Hoyt. That's it, right? Let's go. I'm excited. Girls Gone BBQ. That's such it's an eye-catching name, and I'm curious where did it come from?
I cannot say that I actually came up with it. A friend of mine did.
Really?
Unfortunately, I wish I could say that I was that clever, but I'm not, unfortunately. A friend came up with it a long time ago.
How long has Girls Gone BBQ been a business?
Officially, I've been a business since 2010 in Seattle.
Started in Seattle and then brought it down here.
Yeah.
Is it still open in Seattle?
No.
Okay.
I had to close due to COVID and cancer. But
okay.
Started in Seattle, started doing farmers markets, and then started doing catering. And then finally decided I want to do official brick and mortar. And my whole thing is my Arkansas Delta barbecue. So I had to come back to Arkansas to start it.
Okay. That's what's up. And then Jackson, let's see. I know you've been doing music for a while. You're kind of just now stepping into like trying to like do it and like perform places and getting out. How has that journey been so far?
Just kind of figuring out how to put one foot in front of the other. I was saying to you before, I mean, I don't know how to go out and find places I'm going to play. Music's just been a part of my life for a long time, and then writing songs has been a part of my life for 8 or 9 years, and I was just getting to the point now where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go out, take some opportunities if I can find them to play my music for people. And honestly, I don't know what that's like outside of maybe what I'm familiar with is people play at like bars and everything, and my music's kind of soft and acoustic, and my voice isn't as demanding when I'm singing. It's kind of a little bit gentler. And so in some way, while I know like kind of maybe the bars and places like that are available to go play at, I just don't think my music's gonna do well in those spaces. So I'm kind of looking for other spaces, and that's where I just drop some blanks. And, every once in a while I stumble on something like that sounds like a good chance to go play though.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you here.
Yeah.
And it makes me think, I'm curious both of you guys' take on like Northwest Arkansas and trying to push your craft within the area, and how has that journey been for you specifically? How about you?
Oh no, let him go first.
Let him go first. I mean, you talked about like trying to find like, trying to find spaces, that fit your vibe. And like, I come from a similar background. Like I do hip hop. And so like, we didn't have, like, there weren't too many spaces that were like, come do, rap in here. We had to create our own spaces essentially. And I'm curious, like, have you thought about that? Like maybe like, maybe like, I don't know, maybe I need to like, do like, reconvert an art venue into like a space that would be fitting for my music or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's actually a really recent thought. So not something that I've been tooling around with long enough to have really made any groundwork, but there's been a couple things that have come to mind, and I'm starting to nurture those ideas more.
Nice.
Because I feel that a little bit. Like there's not necessarily a space for like the listening room type thing here. Kind of like you were saying with like the rap and the hip hop, like there wasn't that space that you needed for that. And so it's actually just more recently occurring to me that like those thoughts, like maybe I could do something with that, or maybe I could share the thoughts with someone else who wants to do something with that too. But definitely starting to nurture those thoughts and maybe find some more avenues for people in a similar boat to play music.
That'd be dope. How about you? How's the journey been navigating the Northwest Arkansas space?
Well, it's been a journey.
Especially coming from Seattle.
So I moved back here in 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I bought a house in November in 2019. My whole thing was like, come to Arkansas, keep catering in Seattle, try to do both, and then, find a location here, keep Seattle open, and try to do both of those. But then, and I was doing that for a while, and then my last job in Seattle was February 29th of 2020. So I drove here with COVID following me along the way.
Literally.
Literally following me, and all my friends in Seattle calling me, go buy toilet paper.
Wow.
So yeah, so got here, was dealing with COVID and all that. Found a location down here on Block Street.
Yeah.
And was almost open then, but then that fell through, and then I had cancer and dealing with breast cancer and stuff and everything, and then now I have the location now. So mine was a few year process.
Yeah, I'm sure. It sounds very difficult to navigate.
Yeah.
How has it been like? How's the reception been so far?
It's been really good. It's been really good. Yeah, and mine's a different style of barbecue than I think a lot of people. Then I think a lot of people are used to up here. I think a lot of people are used to a Texas-style barbecue, and I'm bringing the Arkansas Delta barbecue. So it's different. It's not sweet. It's not, a mesquite. It's like 100% hickory. There's no oak mixed in. It's just hickory, and my barbecue sauce is tangy. I got those southern staples. So.
Is that like kind of what inspired you, like that, like home? Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
Sort of
yeah, that's what inspired me. I started making ribs when I was in Seattle. I couldn't find any barbecue, so I was out there, late '90s, early 2000s. I couldn't find any barbecue I like, so I would come back and I would actually go to Des Arc and I'd go to the dairy bar, and it was in the day when you could actually take liquid on airplanes. And I would bring back gallons of barbecue sauce to slather on my ribs that I was smoking. So from the dairy bar, Des Arc, Snow White Dairy Bar. Anyways,
That's awesome. Yeah. And then Jackson, I'm curious too. Like, what kind of like inspires your style of music? Like, where did that come from?
Maybe on the musical side, I guess I've been drawn to groups or individual songwriters that have kind of a stripped down sensibility about their music. Maybe it's duos or trios or just an individual singer-songwriter, and a lot of acoustic music. So that kind of the musicality side of it, I think I've been drawn to that, where there's strong lyrics and with a lot to say, and then some really good choices for harmonies and melodies.
Yeah.
I think part of that is just like when I started making music, I didn't have maybe like the deepest well of people I would go tap on the shoulder and say, hey, you want to make music together?
That's real.
Like there was a couple circles where I knew people made music, but maybe part of why my ear is so attuned to those kind of stripped down bare music musicians, it'd just be because like that sounded like something a little bit closer to what I could make myself.
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, that makes sense. I was gonna say your sound does give off that very like I want to use the word authentic, right? Like it's you don't need the bells and whistles or like the overproduced stuff. Like it's like you said, stripped down. Like you want to get to the core of like that connection with like between your feelings and like what you're trying to communicate. Does that sound right?
Yeah. And then kind of starting there, and then just the next thing when I'm, I guess, making a song is just trying to make something that's worth listening to at the same time. Not just to have something stripped down for the sake of it, because I can do that. But, the longer I'm doing it, the more I'm kind of getting critical about what I'm writing and asking like, is this like something worth listening to? Is this something like worth saying? Is my message lost in metaphor or anything like that?
I'm curious with the with like, the difficulty of finding spaces that sort of like, fit your style, your genre. along with like the desire to like be authentic and to create this art that's authentic to you, but also that's like received well by, by people, like what has been sort of the thing that has made you go like do you what has been the thing that's been like grounding you that helps you go, all right, like I got to keep this part of myself even though I want it to be received by people? Like how do you find your space in this area where like there are people that like you could do this style and maybe more people would listen to it, or like you can like be authentic and like and still try to get people to listen? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I don't think I'm wrestling with it too much because like I just haven't gone out and played a whole lot.
That's real, yeah.
Maybe that's going to be a question I start to wrestle with more as I come across more opportunities to play. But I've been in just kind of so few spaces. I guess I'm just coming with what I have at this point.
That's real. I like that. That's like, at this point, it's like you're not even worried about all the other stuff. It's like, yo, this is just who I am, what I have to offer. And like, I think that's like humbling. And it's like a beautiful like thing that I think you don't get from a lot of artists right now, especially that have been like seasoned doing it. So,
right.
It's awesome.
I mean, if I wanted, like I was saying, with going out to places in like a downtown like space where people are out to have a good time and hang out and talk, like that's maybe the first fork in the road for me where I could have said, I want to do a different style of music so I could play for them. Right. And maybe that was the first time I kind of encountered that question and kind of said, no, I'm more satisfied with this acoustic folk music that I'm doing. It's not going to be the most demanding thing to listen to if I go to one of those louder, noisier places. Yeah. It's definitely not going to get people up and out of their seats if they're like wanting to dance. And I think there's an ongoing recognition of like, what am I trying to do? And that's okay if people are in a space where they want something different. Right. I don't necessarily feel like I need to wedge myself in there. That's good. Or change what I'm doing so I can be there. Yeah.
I'm curious too about how like I love every time I swing over you like how's he gonna make that fit me? But no, like I mean like I think like the barbecue scene in Northwest Arkansas, like I don't know if there is a specific like this is what Arkansas barbecue tastes like. Maybe there is. Like I don't know if there is that right now. And I feel like there's a bunch of places like, kind of like you said, like people are taking things from Texas, from Kansas City, like all these different spaces who have their like style, like cities who have their style, like they got their style like down already. Like what Texas barbecue tastes like. What Kansas City barbecue tastes like. And so like I don't know. I feel like, where do you feel like you and Girls Gone BBQ fit into that in terms of like defining and shaping that sort of narrative? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
But first, can I tell you that Arkansas does have...
We do? Okay, tell me.
It does, but the whole state is regional. So you've got like over on eastern Arkansas where it's like the tangy, the vinegary and stuff and everything. And the more you start coming over, the more you're going to get the Texan flavors. The more north you go, you're going to get the Kansas City. So, and a lot of Arkansas barbecue started out with goat.
Really?
I know. I just found this all out recently too. It's pretty interesting.
Where does that come from?
Nope, gotta edit that out because I don't know.
Wow, that's really interesting.
I can tell you a little bit of knowledge, but then I can't give you the rest of it.
No, that's really interesting.
I know that Craig's and McLeod's, Craig's is in Falls Bluff, and McLeod's, I think McLeod's in Hot Springs, they both started out with goat. So
really,
yeah,
wow,
yeah. But as far as me fitting in, that's what you're asking. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I feel like I fit into the Eastern Arkansas style of barbecue. Yeah. I'm just recreating what I grew up with. I'm creating that tangy flavor and stuff. I'm doing, I'm creating my dad's ribs. I'm doing pork butt now. Ham. I did grow up on ham. Eastern Arkansas, it's a lot of ham. Yeah. But I think that's how I fit in. I think I fit in also in the sense of like that I'm bringing a big vegan and vegetarian option.
Really?
Because I was in Seattle for so long, I had to come up with vegan and vegetarian barbecue.
Yeah.
So I have all of my sides are vegan and vegetarian except for one.
Wow.
So that's another way that I fit in.
That's awesome.
So yeah, kind of
That's really cool.
melding it all together.
Yeah. I want to talk to you, you both about like, I guess the idea of like, struggle and like the role that like, struggle has played, and being able to do your thing. I know you went through cancer and battling that, and even like transitioning like from Seattle to Northwest Arkansas, I know presents its own struggles and trying to get Girls Gone BBQ off the ground here. And so I want to talk here a little bit about how that, like, I don't know, did it like, how was that for you? Did it help? Did it reshape some things and what you were able to accomplish or do? Does that make sense?
Kinda. I mean, coming, my whole thing, I that gets edited out. Ask me the question again.
Yeah, I guess what role has like the struggles and the things that you've had to endure over the last few years played in helping you accomplish some of the things that you've accomplished recently?
I honestly, it's just been one foot in front of the other each day.
That's real.
So
Yeah.
that's it. I mean, once you get diagnosed with cancer, I mean, you just gotta keep going. You gotta keep it positive and keep going every day. So I just never drop my goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has having those goals kind of helped benefited you in like doing that, keeping one foot in front of the other, and like?
Yeah, just a positive outlook too.
Yeah.
You gotta keep the humor.
That's good.
About cancer.
Yeah. Thanks. We don't gotta cut that out. We can keep that. And Jackson, I'm curious. I know like it sounds like you've been doing music for a long time, but even taking that step out to go like, all right, like maybe this isn't something that I just got to do, in my living room. Maybe it's something that like I want to share with the world, like, and like the struggles of like getting to that, like even the struggle. I want to actually talk to me about the struggle of even getting to that point in your mind of going like, all right, like I'm ready to start like getting out there and trying.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the quick recap of my musical life, so just for context of this, would be like, I've had an instrument in my hands from a young age, and throughout, I guess, childhood and adolescence, I was picking up new instruments and having opportunities every once in a while to try something else. And so music was always kind of there. It was something I just gravitated towards doing whenever I got that chance. Then when I guess I started writing about 8 or 9 years ago, that was just, for a long time, I guess it was just something I knew I wanted to do because I kept returning to it. And I kept making time and space in my day to sit down with, some paper and start to work on something. But I had this experience in 2020. Was it? Maybe. So I was going to sign up for this a songwriting camp. The first time I'd ever heard of something like this.
Yeah.
And then 2020 was 2020, and that got pushed into 2021. So I kind of got excited for it, but it didn't happen. And then a year later, I did get to go. I met some incredible artists there. We were kind of workshopping songs, talking about ways we can kind of break songs apart and put them back together and kind of chisel away at them. And I had this, song in particular I was working on that week while I was there that I got to do with a couple other really amazing artists. And after that happened, I was thinking everything I knew about songwriting just changed or, evolved in some way. Like I needed to revisit everything I'd ever written or just start fresh. Like I needed to to rewrite songs. I needed to write new songs. I had these new tools and like ways of thinking about that that I was gonna start using, and that was kind of a pivotal moment for me where
For sure.
I was never thinking about playing stuff before. I just liked writing. And then that song and that experience of playing with people there, it kind of motivated me to say, all right, I'm going to make some more songs because I really want to share this one with people, but I don't want to share just one. I guess I wanted to share a list of songs with people. And so if I'm going to do that, I may as well start finding other spaces to get in front of people and play.
That's
so
real.
it was kind of this like long thing that, you know, I was always around music, and I was just doing it because I gravitated towards that, and it was just this experience of writing with some other people for the first time.
Yeah, kind of propelled you into wanting to do it more like for yourself.
Yeah, and it just kind of altered some of my objectives. It gave me some new things to think about and kind of figure out if I wanted to change my trajectory a little bit with
Okay, so you leave the songwriting camp, you have this new passion of like, yo, like I might want to do this. Now you're like here, like trying to do this. Like, what are some of the things that like that you found recently that are like, all right, yo, this helps ignite that passion. Like if I do this, that helps ignite this passion. If this other thing kind of hinders that, like dampens that passion or like makes it hard to ignite that. Does that make sense? What are some of those things?
I guess two things that come to mind is one, the passion to write was it's been there with me for a little bit. But one of the things I was having to, I guess, negotiate in my own life was maybe the day job that I have and how much time that gives me back in my free time. Because I've definitely been in kind of circumstances where I felt like I was working so much, I was just kind of mentally drained, and I couldn't really sit down and think about writing something. So I've definitely looked for kind of even just on that level, shifting where I work or what I work on to make sure kind of when I'm done with work for the day that like I'm not so drained I can't write too. And then the other things, like since that first trip where I got to just hang out with a bunch of other kind of like-minded songwriters, I'm looking for more of those opportunities. Those really kind of fire me up a little bit and motivate me to just keep writing.
You know, that's interesting. Like, I don't know if we have anything like that here. Like, we should maybe do something like that. That'd be dope.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
That's a note. That's a note. That's a note one right now because I think that'd be super cool. Okay, Dana, coming back to you. Also, I know I keep going back and forth, but like this is a collaborative space. Like, feel free to ask each other questions, and like, you know, if something piques your interest that he says or vice versa, like feel free to be like, like, what do you think about that? That's interesting, you know.
Trillium Salon Series. Have you heard of them?
Look
them up. Trillium. I think
actually, I might have heard of. Where have I heard of that before? That sounds okay. What is it?
Well, it's what you're looking to do. I'm trying to explain this right now. Now I'm having
Trillium Lawn Series.
Trillium Salon.
Trillium Salon. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that here? Or
It's here. Just look up Trillium. Look it up
Okay.
on Instagram or whatever. My friend Katie does it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like songwriting camps and stuff.
Well, it's not necessarily songwriting camps, but it's where you can go play. And
oh, okay.
this is where I wish I had my phone right now.
This-
So I can,
It's where
so
you
I
can
can
go
scroll
play.
through
Okay,
and not be
okay.
nervous and tell you about all this without.
I will say, like, I feel every once in a while in Arkansas particularly, like, I feel like these things do exist, and maybe I'm just oblivious to them.
No,
but
yeah.
in some sense, I feel like I just never run across the conversation about this. So, like, talking about it and saying, like, have you heard of this? Like, maybe is just the key, maybe to revealing where all this stuff might already exist.
That's true.
I just don't know about it.
No, that's true. I feel like Northwest Arkansas does have a
Yeah.
like problem with like getting the word out about things. It's like, yeah, like something cool could be happening. It's like, oh, I didn't even know that this was happening here. Like, do you find that too with like? I wonder if that's similar too with like restaurants too. Like, I guess yeah, some people would be like, man, I didn't even know this place existed. It was here. It was so good, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that way. I feel like it's also everything is a lot of stuff is social media. So if you're not embedded in the social
That's
media,
true.
you might not know what's going on.
Yeah,
So I
sure.
mean,
If
I
you don't
think
follow
that's-
the right accounts.
I think that's the way things are. Right?
Yeah. That's sad. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. I love that you have said that Arkansas has its own barbecue style. I think we had another barbecue restaurant on before, and I don't think they said that. And so it's interesting that you said that. I want to say as you sort of define your style as like, you know, Eastern Arkansas?
Eastern Arkansas,
Eastern Arkansas, like, I'm curious, like, what are the things that, like, I guess in the vegan, that's, like, thing that you...
That's from Pacific Northwest, yeah.
Yeah, that's unique to you. I'm curious, like, what are the things, like, what are the, like, recipes and, like, even, like, seasonings and, like, how you go about cooking things that's, like, all right, this is authentic to what I want to, like, do and, like, you know, what I want people to taste and feel. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, I mean, so basically like what do I consider like the Eastern Arkansas staples?
Yeah.
I think the one is going to be Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Arkansas. I did trademark that. Arkansas.
Okay. You trademarked that?
I did.
Let's go.
It's an apple. So I mean, in Eastern Arkansas we have an apple coleslaw. So yeah. So it's really I mean that I think just
Is it because there's also like I think Lincoln has like they have like the #1 like apple.
I don't know. Do they?
I think so. They have like the apple like. Look, this shit
We're
could be
getting nods. Yes. Okay.
They had like the #1 Apple Fest or something like that in the world. It's like it's another thing that you wouldn't know existed unless
unless someone told me.
maybe
about
I don't know. Maybe there's a connection between the apples and the apple slaw. Like
I have no clue. All I know is I grew up with apple coleslaw.
That's
and
funny,
from
okay.
the Dairy Bar and from Craig's, and so I just kept on recreating that. I mean, I'm doing black eyed peas as well.
Yeah.
But of course, like I do the black eyed peas, I do them vegan, so that vegans and vegetarians can still experience that. I smoke them. Cornbread is definitely not sweet. You are not getting any sweet cornbread tomorrow. It's savory.
Let's go.
It's more. It's the it's the skillet style. So.
like in like a
But
skillet.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up on.
Yeah.
That's what I.
Yeah.
That's how my mom made cornbread.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, the more north you tend to go, the more they think it's cakey, I think.
Yeah.
And like, no, it's not. It's
Nah, that's how we made it. You made it in the cast iron skillet,
iron
and
skillet.
you cut the little.
Yeah.
You did cut it like cake, dude.
Yeah.
That's how we ate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you bringing tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
excited now.
Yeah, so tomorrow you're getting some pulled pork.
Let's go.
So you're gonna get a barbecue. So
Yeah.
we put, pulled pork sandwich. You're gonna get the pulled pork with the slaw on top of it and everything. I'm bringing some brisket.
Let's go.
I just started honestly. I honestly like to admit this. I just started doing brisket in 2014. So
Really?
Yeah, I'm completely self-taught. No, nothing. I mean, not a school or
Wow.
anything like that. Self-taught on all.
Just like your own, like just doing it on your own.
Yeah.
Like did like growing up, who was that you follow like growing up? Was it like your dad, your mom?
Yeah, it was
okay.
my dad and stuff
Yeah.
and everything. But unbeknownst to me, Dad would boil the ribs and then then he'd go put them on the grill and then he'd
Yeah.
smother 'em in barbecue sauce and everything. So I'm definitely not doing that.
Yeah.
Now they're definitely smoking 6 to 7 hours. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I wanted when I went to Seattle. I wanted to find that, and I couldn't, so I started doing it. So that's
Wow.
So you're not getting the ribs tomorrow, unfortunately.
No,
But you're still getting the pulled pork. You're still getting the apple slaw. You're getting some baked beans.
Yeah.
You're getting mac and cheese,
Let's go.
and some cornbread. But
Let's
all
go.
of my stuff's everything's house made, all homemade recipes. So just been, like I said, I do greens as well, and those are vegan and vegetarian too.
Really?
I grill them.
You grill the greens?
I grill the greens.
What does that mean?
I grill them instead of boiling them.
Okay, now I'm excited.
Or
now.
cooking them down.
Yeah.
I grill them. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Okay, I'm really excited. Jackson, how do you plan to compete with that? With your music? No,
In no way.
no way. No, I'm excited. I think tomorrow will be a good treat on both ends with the food and the music. I think the lunch hour is a good setting for you. You know what I mean? For your style. Like,
I'm excited for it.
It's interesting. The lunch hour is like proven to be this like all-inclusive space. We've had a bunch of different styles and genres, and like people come really receptive. You know, they come really receptive to eating good food, and really receptive to like hearing good music, no matter like, you know, no matter what it is, no matter this, like who it is, like everyone's excited. And I think the food helps, honestly. I think the food helps, like people like receive. It's like, oh man, like the food is good. It's like, oh man, this sounds good. It's like it makes for the whole day to be good. Does that make sense? Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. I'm excited to eat your food and hear the music tomorrow, or whenever y'all hear this. Will probably be after that happens, and I will have eaten really good food and listened to really good music, and maybe your song we'll have a release date then for your song too, and we can put that out. We can start sharing that to the world. Where can they find y'all on social media, all that good stuff?
Right now, you can just go to jacksonhoyt.com. I've got my socials linked there at the very top, so on Instagram and Facebook, but just jacksonhoyt.com would be the easiest.
For me, it's Girls Gone BBQ.com, and then Girls Gone BBQ on Insta and Facebook.
Perfect. All right. I am Jasper Logan. This is KUAF's The Lunch Hour, brought to you by George's Majestic Lounge Happy Hour. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we are out.
I had to throw you off a little bit with the boom comment. Sorry.